Here we go. Let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's up, MJ? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple and Gold Bars. I am your host, Purple and Gold Bars, a.k.a. Mr. AA. Why is my tongue all tied? Welcome to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, a.k.a. Mr. AI Man 3000, a.k.a. Mr. Purple and Gold Bars, at your service. We're back at it because, we got another clown to talk about today. Usually Dan Orlovsky, I let a lot of it slide because the dumbest takes and contradictions that he makes usually are from another team, and it doesn't really matter too much for me to even make a video about it. But this time, man, I just couldn't stop laughing when I'm watching this clip from this morning on Get Up. And I'm like, bro, you're literally contradicting yourself, and then the highlights behind you are proving you wrong. Oh, you got to see this. Let's check it out because we got some Shefty coming in there making some good points, reminding some history of the Vikings, and then we also have another good take there about JJ McCarthy, as well as they make their predictions for this upcoming Ravens versus Vikings game that we're all so excited to see. Let's get right into it, guys. The background music. Let's get the show intro going and let's start this clip. All right, let's get it started, guys.
We haven't said a whole lot about the Vikings. And the first question I wanted to ask you, Dan, when we got to this game was the JJ McCarthy of it all. He played well last week. It was an impressive win. It was his third NFL game. I think it's important to underline that. But as you went back and watched it, how good is JJ McCarthy? Is this team ready to play in a game like?
Did you guys catch that? Got to give the, you can't hide your bias. Yo, for like Greeny just said there, he kind of prefaced it to remind people this was his third NFL start, okay? Against the team that everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have been high on for the last 3 years as one of these juggernauts. Teams that a team that can really put it to basically everyone. And yet he comes up with a big win, making all the right decisions, all the right plays when he needed to. Something that some previous quarterbacks of ours, Kirk, Sam, just are not able to do. Let's hear him out. Let's hear what he says.
Like this, which is one they desperately need.
When the number one receiver is open, he's very good. And that's where this falls upon Kevin O'Connell. How much can he scheme up to allow J.J. McCarthy to play his best? Because when he knows the coverage and he thinks that first anticipated read is going to be the guy, it's really good. He throws it really good. He throws it with super confidence. He puts his back foot in the ground. That ball is drilled right where it's needed to be. When he has to get to that first or second guy, that's when you see the dip off between accuracy but also tension. When he has to throw to that first receiver, it's easier. It seems more natural. When he gets to that second and third guy, it's almost like you're watching in real time, just tense up. And then sometimes, meet a hawk, the ball's absolutely ripped. And you're like, you don't need to throw it that hard in that moment. And so he's...
Yo, what up, Chris? Thank you for joining me, buddy, here. Oh, man, this is a good one. I can't believe he just said that. And the best part about while he was saying all those things, the highlight right behind him, we're literally proving him wrong. Oh, he's only good when JJ's open. When Jettis is open and everything is working perfectly. Oh, he's awesome. Wait, then they also showed a highlight of him moving off of JJ and then throwing to Addison in a really nicely placed ball that only Jordan could catch. And then he made that catch. And then he goes, oh, when he moves off of that second and third look, it's not that good. He's he clams up. He's just bro. What are you talking about? And then the final clip that they show is him literally throwing to wide receiver 3. Oh, he looked so tight in that moment. He looked so tense. Oh, it must have been all Jalen Nailor that did that. Jalen Nailor threw that ball and caught that ball because JJ, that's the situation that JJ doesn't succeed in apparently. What are you talking about, bro? Like, this is why I say that sports talk shows, sports media shows really don't give you an accurate representation of any team, okay? They're basically clip machines, clip farm machines. They're hot take freaking factories. You know what I mean? They just look at the superficial stuff and then they go, oh, well, I see these stats. This is what he did. Oh, he had a great first quarter and then it dipped from there. And it must mean that he's just average and he struggles all the time. Bro, did you watch the game? Yeah, I get it. He's a rookie, and he didn't look great at times. But what did this man do when the times called upon him to be great? He pulled it out, okay? I'm going to say this 1,000 times or until somebody tells me to stop with this take, but I'm telling you, at the end of that game, when he had to ice the Lions and get us into a victory formation, what do you think Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones would have done in that situation? Spoiler alert. Sam would have freaking stared down Jettas, stared down Addison, and forced up a prayer. Because that's what he does. And then what happens? Oh, because all eyes are on them, most likely either comes up with an interception or best case scenario, the ball gets batted down and then we got to punt the ball away and play defense, giving an opposite team a chance to come back and beat us. Because that's what he does. What did JJ McCarthy do? Oh, he got tensed up. Oh, he had no JJ. He had no Jettas. He had no Addison. He had no hockey. Oh, he had to just look to his third read and get it to poor old Jalen Nailor. No, are you freaking kidding me, bro? That man did what Sam Darnold can never do. Is he remained composed. He didn't let the big situation get the better of him, and he knew exactly what he needed to do to win the game. It didn't matter that he has got the best wide receiver in the league and, we got to get him the ball. He's only got 47 yards in the game. This is my last. No. He wanted to get victory formation and seal the game. And what did he do? He threw that ball perfectly into a perfect back shoulder throw. And he threw that ball before Jalen Nailor was even out of his break. Jalen Nailor turned back and the ball was already there. Okay? Sam doesn't do that. In that situation, how about the play before that? When JJ, I'm not sure who was at fault, whether it was Jordan Mason that ran to the right or JJ McCarthy that went to hand the ball off to the left. When I look at the blocking scheme, it looked, unless this was a counter halfback cut or something like that, it looked like Mason was supposed to go left, and he didn't. Or whatever. It doesn't matter whether it's JJ's fault or not. And if it was, even better, because what would have Sam Darnold done in that situation? Oh, he would have been like, oh my goodness, what do I do? And then he probably would have tried to force a prayer, or he would have waited too long and the pressure would have got to him and he would have been sacked and it would have been a 3rd and 14 or some bullshit. What did JJ do? JJ didn't panic. He knew what the stakes were in that moment. He said, I got to get some yards here so we can make it an easier 3rd down play. And he went and got 5 yards. Okay? It looked more like 4, but they gave him a good spot. Either way, set up a 3rd and 5. In a situation where they're like, this is we're going to have to sell out on the pass here. And they did. They literally sent everybody to cover everyone else except for Jalen Nailor, and they left a lowly 3rd or 4th string corner on Jalen. And because JJ had one read on that, he noticed that Jalen was in press coverage, and he's like, I know what I have to do here to win this game and get us in victory formation. He put that ball where it needed to be, and look at what we did. We ended up embarrassing the Lions. And the best part about it is that last touchdown that we gave up to J-Mo. It's like, oh, the Lions got so pumped up. They're like, oh my God, we're going to bring it back. We just got to get an onside kick. We just got to play defense and we're going to win this game. But then JJ said, nah. Not on my watch. And he snatched their souls right out of them. It was amazing to see. We haven't had that kind of quarterback play in a long time. And it was beautiful. So that's why none of that makes sense. Yes, JJ McCarthy had some moments. And yeah, there was moments where he threw a bullet pass when he should have lobbed it. And that's just what happens when you're a rook and you're in certain situations. You make mistakes. To come up with some narrative, oh, he gets so buttoned up, he gets so tight when he can't go through his passes first and second read. Bro, what are you talking about? I know you're grasping at air because you need to come up with some sort of take going into this show, because that's all you guys have on this show is mostly superficial takes that have zero substance, which make you guys look like morons, especially like a week later, sometimes even days later. I think I'm going to have to go find that clip because I didn't want to make that clip because I feel like there was a clip from either First Take or Get Up where Dan Orlovsky was talking about, oh, JJ might not be the guy for the future here. They should have kept Sam Darnold. And now look at him. Looks like a freaking clown, like he is. Let's get on with the clip.
Still so young. It's still, to your point, his fourth game essentially in the NFL as the guy, so it has to improve. But there is a little period of just let's get him his reps. But Kevin O'Connell's got to scheme things up right now.
I think there's been a lot made. You've pointed
Kevin
it out
O'Connell
here, and many others have. Obviously, your history and Taylor's history with Michigan.
Oh, my goodness. JJ McCarthy isn't a quarterback that you need to scheme up anything. You just have to have great play design, and you have to trust that he has done the homework to know what to do in every situation. When he sees press coverage, when he sees them play off the line, when he sees it in single high, double high, you know what I mean? When he sees it in cover 3 or cover 4, when he sees 8 in the box, he needs to know what to do in those situations. He can literally make every throw in the book. Go back and watch JJ McCarthy highlights from when he was at IMG, okay? I know it's high school, but he was playing against the best talent in the nation. 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits, the best players in the league, and he won a state title there. And when you look at those games, he was making every throw, back shoulder throws. He was throwing into coverage. He was putting the ball in places where only his receiver could catch the ball. Yes, we didn't see that a lot in Michigan because he didn't have to do that. And it's like, oh, man, JJ's just a system guy. He just had a stacked team in front of him. That's the only reason he did it. Hey, guess what? JJ has a stacked team in the NFL. So maybe the experience that he gathered in Michigan or at Michigan is probably going to help him develop properly in the NFL. He's going to go through the crawl, walk, run phase. And the first thing, crawl, is become a game manager. All quarterbacks need to do that when they first come in the league. I feel like somebody said, I think maybe it was Mike Sports 5, the great Mike Sports Vibes. He said, I feel like every single quarterback is a game manager. They're just different levels of it. Yes, there's the basic game manager that literally only does that and does not have a ceiling. And then there's guys that can game manage, plus they're a bit of a gunslinger. Plus they have a great arm or whatever it is. Maybe they're a field general and they can dissect defenses better and they can capitalize even though they don't have the arm or whatever it is. And then there's the greatest game manager of them all, Tom Brady. Let's not forget, man, when Tom Brady got into the league, he had a stacked team around him. And his progression was game manager into getting better and developing more skills and just putting in that hard work with a winning mentality. And eventually, he became a guy that literally could do it all. The guy's got a level of knowledge that's unprecedented at the quarterback position. Probably the only guy that you could compare him to when it comes to football IQ is Peyton Manning. And he's a through and through die-hard freaking field general. So I don't know what this guy's saying. What's going on, Blood Eagle Smeagol? Let's go, Eric. What is up? We're cutting up Mr. Dan Orlovsky he's just oh man, this guy can't help. He literally contradicts himself. The highlights behind his statement literally contradicted himself. Oh, he says when JJ's the only one, if he's open, then he makes it, and then they show a highlight of him throwing to Addison after he moves off of a JJ read, and then they show him finish the game with Jalen Naylor. Oh yeah, he really has a hard time coming off of that first read. But anyways, let's move on, because I think we got a good reminder of the situation that our Vikings were in by Mr. Schefter here. And we know Adam Schefter is a big JJ McCarthy fan. So let's hear what he says.
Michigan and everything else with McCarthy. For a normal quarterback, if you just sort of look at their experience, this would be like week 4 of his rookie year.
Correct.
This would be September of your rookie year. But unfortunately, because the circumstances have been what they've been, he gets inserted in the midst of a playoff run that they
You know, I got to give credit where credit is due, because Greeny, for being just the host and not really having the football IQ that a lot of these other guys have, that's a really good point. That JJ McCarthy is playing his 4th game, which normally for a rookie quarterback comes at the end of September. He's actually having to play in November. So that's a lot bigger stakes. The teams are already rounding into form, or starting to get into playoff form. That's a pretty good point. And the Lions were desperate to stay at the top of the league, because if they had won, they would have been one of the front runners. People would have been saying, "Oh, it's the Lions season again. Look what they did. They just keep on winning. They put 52 points up against the Vikings or whatever." But no, what happened? You know, it's a great point that Greeny has to say, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Greeny, I like the way you think, man.
desperately need every single win. He goes on the road and he beats the Lions. Now they get a Baltimore team that people are all expecting to make a run here. The circumstances for McCarthy are pretty tough.
Well, he entered Sunday, I think, with more pressure on him than just about any player in the National Football League, because everybody knows it's a franchise that had on its roster last season Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. Again, here we are with the New York quarterbacks shining elsewhere. What people don't realize, of course, is that Minnesota attempted to keep both. They tried to re-sign Sam Darnold. They tried to keep Daniel Jones. Both quarterbacks opted for jobs elsewhere, knowing how much belief and confidence the Vikings had in JJ McCarthy. They wanted to play. And so Daniel Jones figured his best opportunity to play was competing against Anthony Richardson, not JJ McCarthy. Sam Darnold figured his best chance to play was in Seattle, where they were trading Geno. And they were right. They were right. That leaves JJ McCarthy having to take over a team that last year went to the playoffs with a lot of questions, a lot of pressure. He's battled through injuries, had more injuries this year, has struggled to stay on the field. And as you mentioned, that was his third start. This would be his fourth NFL game. That's very early in his NFL career.
The Vikings.
Yes, definitely. I want to clarify a little bit more there too. Yes. He wants to make it seem like JJ McCarthy's injury prone. Oh man, he's battled through adversity. This is his fourth game and it's November. But hey, in that second game against the Falcons, we literally lost every single freaking starter except for one on the O-line. And I'm going to keep reminding ourselves that JJ put up 6 points when he had literally one starter and a whole bunch of backups. Carson Wentz against the Chargers put up 10 points with one starter, and all of our other starters kind of fell out of that game. So not that bad. And two, we're polite. Minnesotans are polite. I'm Canadian, but I feel like Minnesota is like an extension of Canada, because every single time I go there, everybody's so freaking nice. And so Minnesotans are polite, okay? I don't think it's been disclosed how much the Vikings offered to him, and if it wasn't nowhere near what anybody else is going to pay. It was more like a polite gesture, like, if you want to stay with us, we'll pay you $28 million for a year, maybe two. For one more year, because we just don't know. We need a little bit of insurance for JJ just in case. But guess what? It's just like Daniel Jones was probably offered $18 million or whatever it was to stay as the backup. They both, he basically just said they opted to move on, and they made the right decision for themselves and for their league. And the biggest reason why they didn't want to stay in Minnesota, when they have a generational wide receiver, they have one of the best defenses in the league, and when healthy, our left tackle is all, like, literally the best, if literally one of the best, if not the best left tackle in the league. Brian O'Neill ain't no slouch. He's definitely up there top 10 right tackles in the league, which is pretty darn good. And then the interior O-line is definitely heading in the right direction. Are you telling me that before the draft, before JJ McCarthy got drafted, everybody was saying, oh, the best possible spot for any rookie quarterback would be Minnesota because they got the coach, they got the defense, they got the defensive coordinator, the organization is top tier, it's one of the best in the whole league. Every freaking player wants to play there if they had the chance. What happened to that notion? If they felt that they were better or could do what JJ McCarthy couldn't do, they would have taken the money, because that's what you do when if you really want to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. If I was Sam Darnold and I have a lot clearly more delusional confidence than he does, because I'm sitting here talking on the internet, giving my opinion and whatnot. So if I had I do have. If I was Sam Darnold in that situation and I went and crapped the bed like he did in Week 18 and then in the playoffs, that would eat me alive. I'd be like, there's no way I'm leaving here until I make that right and I prove everybody wrong. But that's just me. And that's JJ McCarthy. And they knew that sooner or later, JJ was going to take their starting job and they were going to be riding the bench for the rest of the season. And neither one of them wanted to do that. They rather go and make money and continue to elevate themselves, because that's more important to them than winning a Super Bowl and being that dude in the playoffs. So just clarifying there and adding some more context to Shefty's point. But let's see. This guy makes a good point. What up, Lefty? Purple Jesus?
Teams have been spoiled by their circumstances. They get quarterbacks to play at their very best. They have great seasons no matter who's come through the KOC system. And so with that, I would preach to them, the fans, you got to have patience with a young quarterback. Yeah, he's in year 2, but to your point, this is his 4th game. And there were times and moments that you saw that first-round capability. Some of those ball placements he threw into Addison that was dropped, but it was a perfect drop in the bucket. The touchdown to Justin Jefferson. And then other times it's a little frantic. It's a little him trying to work his way through, figure things out. The thing that made JJ McCarthy special coming in was he got better when the stakes got high in college, right? And so for a young player, you got to trust those mechanics. You got to trust putting him and leaving him in these situations to work his way through so he gets comfortable from start to finish. But there was enough in this game where I thought, okay, I can see what the Vikings see in him and why they believe he could be the quarterback of the future.
Both these teams need to win this game. Who do you think will?
I got the Ravens. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's highest success rate. And
we'll get to the picks here in a second here. But, man, that was an incredibly well-spoken statement. He's absolutely right. We have to be patient because he's young, he's going to make mistakes, but the flashes that we saw, the big moments that we saw from him are the things that make you go, oh man, we are in for something special. I can't wait for him to develop and get to the point where he no longer has to suffer from these rookie jitters and has gotten a hang of the speed, because a lot of people was like, oh, well, there's a whole bunch of passes that he threw and they were just slightly behind their receiver. Yeah. That tends to happen when you're adjusting to the NFL speed, right? Receivers in college aren't as fast as the receivers in the pros. So yeah, he's just has to adjust his aim a little bit. And that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited for that year 2 step, because that's going to be massive. So big ups to this guy right here, Andrew Hawkins, if I'm not mistaken, because that's not Will Compton or Dan Orlovsky, because that was spot on. Like I've been saying, we need to just watch at the flashes that JJ McCarthy shows this season, because that's going to give us an indication of what's to come. And in week 1 against the Bears, it was a historic flash. First ever player to lead a comeback of 11 points or more in the fourth quarter on his first game starting. Historic. First ever to do it. Then, this weekend, he joined the company of Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, and now JJ McCarthy, only three players in history to ever do what JJ McCarthy did. And what is that? He won two road games within the division to start their career. I don't know. Dan Marino is pretty good. Patrick Mahomes is even better. And now JJ McCarthy, that's some great company to have. And if that doesn't give you hope, if that doesn't make you go, oh man, when this kid freaking figures it out, oh, we're going to be freaking something special. And you know what? I have been pumping the brakes for a lot of people like, hey, relax. Like, I feel like at best what we can do is sneak into the playoffs, because if we sneak in there, JJ's going to get at least one game experience on a loss and kind of help his development so he can feel what it's like to prepare for a playoff game. Feel what that energy is like, because it's most likely going to be a road game. And it's going to show him what to expect. And then going forward, that's just going to help him grow even faster. But you know what? This young man knows what to do, knows how to win games. And if anybody out of Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and JJ McCarthy, if out of these three guys, who am I going to gamble on that has a chance of actually making a Cinderella run? It's the guy that rises to the occasion in big moments, not collapses like we saw Daniel Jones collapse this week, like we saw freaking Sam Darnold collapse against the Lions and against the Rams last year. Like, complete collapse. People forget he had a 55 passer or QBR rating one game and like a 76 QBR the second game. It might have been the other way around, 76 and 55. Either way, it was hot garbage. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to come across like a Sam Darnold hater, because you guys know, if you watched me last year, I was all about Sam Darnold, and I told you guys he was going to do great, and I predicted a 15-win ceiling and an 11-win floor, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a 10-win floor. But either way, we won 14 games with the man. So I think I got a pretty good read on this guy. The thing is that his reclamation project ain't finished. He needs to develop and show growth in big games before I can say, oh, Sam Darnold has arrived. Unless this year, he's probably not going to collapse again because of the experience that he had last year. He's probably just going to be mediocre, which is a step in the right direction. It's growth in those situations. But I know I don't know about you, but I don't want to freaking sit here for this year and next year just watching Sam Darnold trying to figure out the playoffs. You kidding me? Why? I don't want to watch that rerun 3 years in a row just to get embarrassed in the playoffs, probably from a lesser team, because Sam Darnold freaking can't get out of his head. I'd rather go into the playoffs with JJ McCarthy and see where this kid takes us and just watch what he can do under pressure, because that's going to be a big indication of what's to come. So let's check out these. Let's hear what these guys have to say when it comes to their picks. We can see the picks at the bottom there. Greeny, the only one with any sense here. Let's hear what they say. Will Compton just let me rewind it. Let's hear what Will Compton said about his pick here.
Will.
I got the Ravens. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's highest success rate, and he's the best when he gets pressured. Minnesota being the number 2 team in the league that pressures you, I see Ravens having a big game, and they're also in playoff mode the rest of the way.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. Normally speaking, Lamar Jackson is great against the pressure. He's great against the blitz, and the biggest reason for that is because he can escape the pocket and break, contain, and gash you for 10, 15, 20, 25 yards. That's what he can do. But I know for a fact, based on what I saw last week against, who did they play last week? I forget, but either way, I know that the way that Lamar Jackson played last week was way too conservative to make this kind of assessment. Did you guys notice that there was no read options? There was no design quarterback runs out of Lamar? The coaching staff was not putting him in any danger. And there was a lot of times where Lamar scrambled to look for the pass and then ate a sack because he did not want to run and hurt himself, whether that was re-aggravating that hamstring or taking a bad hit and getting out of the game, right? And why is that? Why is that? It's because if he takes a bad injury, if he re-aggravates that hamstring, the season is over. They can't rely on Tyler Huntley to keep them in the playoff run, especially at this time of the season for the 1, 2, 3 weeks. If he re-aggravates his hamstring or gets another injury, it's the season's over. So I know that it's most likely going to be more conservative, especially these first 3 weeks that he's back, until they know 100% that when he decides to sprint, he's not going to re-aggravate his hamstring. Because if he does, it is over. Absolutely over. So at that point, with that being said, he's going to be more like Jared Goff than Lamar Jackson back there. He's going to be sitting in the pocket and looking to throw more than anything, and that's going to change the way that we play around him. On top of the fact that we got some pretty decent guys that can QB spy. Blake Cashman, we can easily put a couple other guys there. Van Ginkel's got a way of sealing the edge. So that's not even a factor. So I don't think that makes much sense, Mr. Compton.
I think Baltimore as well. I think number one, Baltimore defensively, with Kyle Hamilton down near the football, it's a completely different unit. The way that they are really making offenses one-dimensional, meaning that you're making them a pass-heavy offense because of his performance, is a big deal. Last week, Baltimore's offense was just okay for me. Lamar was just okay. Everyone made this big deal that it was fine. They ran the ball a little bit better as the game went on. And that's the shocking thing was I think they scored 28 and they were just okay.
Yeah.
So first week back, great.
Well,
now that he's back, Lamar, he's got that game underneath him this year. Can this offense start to take off?
Right.
And they have a long break.
Wow. Dan Orlovsky literally just made my point in a different way. Yes, last week they were reserved. They were just okay, as he said. But come on now. I like Tyler Hamilton. He's a third-year guy. He's not reached his prime or his true potential yet. He looks like a stud, though. I'm not going to deny that. But let's not forget that this Ravens defense has been mediocre at best all season. Yes, I know they brought in a linebacker, but really on 3 days or whatever, is he going to be freaking banging on all cylinders, know all the freaking signals and be on the same page as the rest of the defense? Probably not. He's probably not going to get the same amount of snap percentage that everybody else is. So this defense, as well as they played against the Dolphins last week, it was the freaking Dolphins. Okay? Let's not freaking hype ourselves up on this defense that literally everybody was saying for the last freaking weeks before that, 7 weeks or whatever it was, that this defense is one of the worst defenses in the league. Only worse. They were only better than like the Cowboys. Freaking who else was just hot garbage other than that? Like they were like the fourth worst team defensively in the league. Now they're probably the 20th best defense in the league. You think we should be scared about that? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable, man. And that's why, Dan Orlovsky, thank you for helping me make my point, but that makes zero sense.
They had the little mini bye, right, coming off of that Thursday night game, so extra time to get ready for it.
And
Final word.
And they went out and added Draymond Jones to their defense, and they believe that that's going to be a big-time upgrade along the defensive front.
You know, there are playoff games sometimes in early November. This feels a little bit like
I would say the Ravens got to basically win out. There's grace for maybe one loss.
And the Vikings, too. I mean, this is a team that was thinking Super Bowl thoughts. That whole division is over 500. They're looking up at everybody, including the Bears. Coming up, a sneaky
Let's go. Absolutely. Well said, Greeny. Greeny, the only one that has a freaking brain out of the crew there. This is what happens when you just can't take the time and you just have to go off of feeling and just raw freaking basic like football math. It doesn't always quite pan out for you like you think it will. That's why I'm pretty sure Dan Orlovsky was on a first taker. I'm going to look for that one. Maybe we'll do that hot take review tomorrow or something, just to remind people how brain dead Dan Orlovsky can be, because I'm pretty sure Colin Cowherd isn't the only one that was saying that the Vikings made a mistake moving on from Sam Darnold and saying JJ is just not him after a 2-game sample size. Give me a break. Let me see here. Blood Eagle Smeagol says, if they put Kyle Hamilton in the box, just throw it to Addison. Absolutely, man. Did you know? Man, absolutely. I'll give a little bit of my insights here about this game. Like, I've already told you guys what I think about the quarterback position in Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be reserved, and he's not going to be fully putting on the cape. He's just going to be Clark Kent out there, and Clark Kent can do some things, okay? Let's be real. But he ain't going to be wearing the Superman cape this Sunday, because he knows that if he takes a bad injury, it's over for them. The season is completely lost. So he's going to try to win the smart way, and our defense is going to eat him up for that. So I think our defense has a massive advantage when we have a far better defense than they do. We have a top 10 defense. It's on the way back up. And the Ravens defense is at best 20th in the league. So that is something easily manageable for JJ McCarthy. Okay. That defense is going to make JJ look incredible at times. I know he's going to struggle. He's going to make some mistakes, but on top of the fact that Mr. Derrick Henry ain't Adrian Peterson-esque like I thought he was. Okay. The first start of when the Ravens lost Lamar initially, I was like, hey, I've seen Adrian Peterson run with literally no quarterback before, even with 10 people in the box, and still find us ways to win, or give us ways to win, options to win. Derrick Henry can do the same. He's basically this generation's Adrian Peterson, I thought. But the guy can't run against 7 in the box, 8 in the box, 9, heaven forbid 10 in the box like Adrian Peterson was. He looked hot garbage during the time that Lamar Jackson wasn't there. And the reason why he does well when Lamar Jackson is back is because they have to account for Lamar in the running game. So they put a spy on him. That means there's less people in the box, gives him more openings to work with. And I love Derrick Henry because I love the way that he runs. But he's due for another fumble. This is going to be a freaking 3 phases of the game freaking again. Because this team, like I've been saying, this team requires everybody to do their part. It needs to be a total team win. And when everything works, like we're getting great kickoff returns, punt returns, we're getting good field position, we're getting blocked field goals in dire situations. We got a freaking kickoff return for a touchdown that got nullified. If we just had a little bit more discipline, we would have beat them by 2 scores. So let's pump the brakes here on these Ravens. As good as the Ravens are, and I am a Ravens fan, I like to see them win. I want to see if they can get over the top, because I'm still not sure if they're just a regular season team like the Lions, or if they do have the potential of breaking through and doing something in the playoffs. Still, the jury's still out for him because it's still pretty young for them. Okay, so yeah, those are my initial thoughts. I'm gonna definitely give you guys a full breakdown for Minnesota Vikings, for Ravens. I'm not sure if it's gonna be later today because I still got a couple clients to do, and I got some girlfriend duties to take care of. But if I can get back on today, we're gonna do a full breakdown. If not, that'll be the big show for tomorrow. If I can't get the NFL. The Vikings Ravens breakdown today, we'll come back with another short one, maybe do a hot take review, maybe look for some other idiots talking about JJ McCarthy and cut them up. And then tomorrow we'll give you guys a nice long breakdown, because my breakdowns are a little bit longer than everybody. I really try to think about every aspect as possible when it comes to these games, and I definitely do everything I can to think outside the box and give you guys a different perspective than you're going to get anywhere else. I guarantee you, you're not hearing my perspective anywhere else because nobody thinks like I do. I'm just freaking twisted like that, okay? But that's why this is the place to get yourself an optimistic, outside of the box way of thinking, giving you guys something to combat all the negativity that we face in our everyday life, as well as all the negative takes that we see around the NFL, especially in mainstream sports. Man, we got idiots like Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, Dan Orlovsky, saying just ridiculous things about our Minnesota Vikings. But you know what? Let them say whatever they want to say, because we're going to keep the receipts. We're going to freaking bring him back up once we're rolling, and we've ascended into that next level of the JJ McCarthy era, and we're going to remind them ruthlessly and relentlessly how brain dead you were because you weren't able to see the writing on the wall, just like we do. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so I hope to get that by the end of the calendar year. We can definitely do that with your support. I know you guys can help me get there. And stay tuned. All of the month of December, we're going to be holding a T-shirt giveaway. This is going to be one of them. The second one's going to be a secret design. It's a graffiti-style purple and gold bars on the front and the main logo on the back, with a little bit of paint drip coming down the bottom. All you have to do to enter is make sure you're subscribed and then leave a comment on one of these lives or any of the uploads that I make. And that's going to get you in. That way, people that are existing subscribers don't, and the ones that are brand new can also participate as well. And then that way we can get out, I'm thinking maybe 10, maybe 15 shirts. We're going to give a bunch of them away. They're going to be limited editions. We're not going to make any second runs of these. And then after that, we're going to start preparing some actual unique designs with maybe some of our best takes or something. We'll figure it out. We'll get some really cool designs, and then maybe we'll get a merch store sometime next season when we hopefully have picked up some steam here on YouTube, and we can do that with your help, hitting that like, subscribing, leaving comments, because that's how the algorithm works in 2025. Man, ooh, I am excited for this game. I really just if I didn't have to go soon, I would literally just break into a Vikings versus Ravens full breakdown with everything that I see at all different levels for both teams, because I go deep into the Vikings and I also go deep into our opponent because I need to be objective. Right? Because I live and die by the probabilities. I try to be as realistic as well as optimistic too, and I always take an outside of the box way of thinking, guys. What is going on, Ali Washington? Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you joining me. We are going to be back. Hopefully we can get the Vikings Ravens breakdown a little bit later on today, because I'm getting fired up. Hopefully I can get home and from work in with doing things with the girlfriend in time to be able to do that before Thursday Night Football. If not, we're going to do it full due diligence tomorrow and really go in depth to Ravens, Vikings, so you guys can have every piece of information that I think you guys need to know so you guys can make a good educated prediction for yourselves. Okay? I love every single one of you guys. I don't care what fan base you're from. I do not care. In the words of the great Mike Sports Vibes, sports are designed to bring us together, not separate us. And yes, we do a little bit of trolling and it's all for fun, and it never is with malicious intent. I don't, I wish the best for every single one of your guys' teams if you're not a Vikings fan. I just don't want you guys to do well when we play against us. Outside of that, just don't have any injuries, because if you guys are new here, I hate injuries. So I just don't want your team to have injuries, and I just want them to suck. But if you're not playing us, man, I want you guys to blow everybody out, because I want you guys to have great days, just not let football get you down. And sometimes I get it. I've been there, man. Bad losses get me down too, okay? I was questioning a lot of things after that Chargers game. But I really appreciate all you guys. I can't wait to see you guys on the next live. Take care, guys.